Hey guys, in this video, we're going to talk about 9 different ways that you can disrupt your industry, stand out amongst the rest. How do you get noticed? How do you get recognized? And essentially, how do you rise to the top? How do you rise and become the cream of the crop? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hey, it's Bryan Dulaney, top 1% of all marketers and funnel experts in the world. And I'm on a mission to help you launch your expertise, build and scale your business, take your business to the next level, and build your legacy. All right, so in this video, we're talking about the 9 different ways to disrupt your industry. The first way to disrupt your industry is that you need to define it, right? So I want you to think about, what does it mean to disrupt your industry? And it's important that you define it. What does that mean, right? Well, in order to disrupt the industry, you need to understand what are the trends and what is currently going on in your industry, okay? So I hope that you are actually aware of all of the players that are in the ecosystem of your marketplace that do what you do, right? And if you're not doing that right now, I would encourage you to do it. So I'd encourage you, have a separate Gmail account and just get on everybody's lists. Follow everybody on Instagram, follow everyone on Facebook, follow everyone on YouTube, right? In your industry, and then keep a pulse of what's going on in the market, okay? It's really hard to disrupt the market if you don't know what's going on in the market, right? So you wanna be awake in that respect, okay? Personally, I like to go to events. I like to be a part of mastermind groups, 25K, 50K, and 100K mastermind groups that I'm in, because I like to stay on the cutting edge and I like to know about things happening before they happen, right? And I would encourage that you do that for yourself as well. So first of all, define it and then 10x it. Okay, what's that mean? Well, once you understand what's going on in the marketplace, you want to disrupt it. You want to make a massive disruption and have all attention focused on you, okay? So define what it is that you want to disrupt in the marketplace, and then amplify that and multiply it by 10x, okay? Even if you fall short, you will have doubled your initial goal of disrupting your marketplace, okay? So that's number 1, okay? Number 2 is understanding, who are you disrupting for, right? Like, you can't just disrupt for no purpose and no person, right? And that goes back to avatar, knowing who your dream customer is, right? So who is that person? Get intimately aware and know that person that you're disrupting for, okay? Because in all your communication and all your marketing and all your advertising efforts, you're going to be disrupting for a reason and for a person, okay? So that's the second thing that's super important. Third is think bigger, okay? There's a saying, and that's called BHAG, right? Big, hairy, audacious goal. And that's one of the things that I picked up from one of my mentors back in college, Jerry Falwell, who started Liberty University and went on to fulfilling his vision. And he always would talk about, you gotta have a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? It's kind of his funny way to say, think bigger, right? So when it comes to disrupting your industry, how can you think outside the box? You know, one of the things I like to do is I like to go to the movies, because the movies, I like to see well-produced production, okay? People put millions of dollars into the production of movies, and typically there's hundreds of people that are involved in that type of production, months and months and months of time and energy focused on making it a hit, right? You know, a bestseller or a hit, right? And so that's one of the things I like to do. I like to go to see the new movies that come out. I like to watch the previews, because I like to see how the new movies are being advertised, and marketed, okay? You'll learn a lot from that if you pay attention, take notes, and then go into it with an open mind. Personally, I go in sometimes to the movies with a notebook, because I'm looking to receive some wisdom or some ideas, and how do I apply it to my business, okay? I think that's part of a key to my success. If I look back over the last 13 years of marketing and selling online, you know, that's one common thread throughout my experience. I like to go to movies, helps me get out of my head, and out of the day-to-day grind, and also just makes me think bigger. So if you're going to disrupt your industry, you've got to think bigger. Like, you got to stop thinking small. And I'm not saying that you're thinking small, but how can you think bigger? How can you think on Elon Musk's level, or how can you think at a higher level than you've ever thought before? One of the best ways to do that is surround yourself with people that are doing more volume and more revenue than you're doing, right? That's why I encourage masterminds and high-level groups like 25, 50, and 100K groups, because those people that are in those groups are typically already doing 7 figures or 8 figures or more, right? Okay, so that's rub shoulders, right? What's the saying? You're the average of the 5 people that you hang with, right? So take inventory, right? Take inventory. Who are those 5 people that you're hanging out with all the time? What is their net worth? Okay, you hanging out with people that are not, or that don't have net worth over 7 figures or 8 figures. If you have 5 people you're hanging out with all the time, they're all making over $10 million, and you're not yet, cool. Like, you're gonna eventually get there as long as you continue to hang around them, get wisdom from them, start thinking on that level. Okay, so that's the next one. Then the next part of another way to disrupt your industry is going to be to think or go outside the box. Okay, so go outside of what's normal. Okay, there's things that are normal that like everybody is doing, and that's why it's real important to have inventory and to have a pulse on what's going on in the marketplace, right? So when you think outside the box, that is what everyone else is not doing. Okay, I'm always thinking about, okay, what's all my competitors doing? Okay, and how can I apply maybe something that's being done in a different industry and apply it to my industry? Okay, case in point, thinking outside the box. We launched a campaign called the free golden ticket. We put all of our, not all of them, we put like 7 and 8 figure funnels, emails, and scripts on this USB drive. Okay, for 3 different types of businesses. Okay, everyone at that time was giving away funnels, but they really weren't giving them away on a free plus shipping offer. Okay, because most of the people that are giving away funnels, it's all digital, so you wouldn't really think to put it on a USB drive, right? And the other thing is that most people wouldn't want to go through the expense of packaging and shipping out a physical product. Okay, but the way that I looked at it is a buyer's worth 40 times more than a lead. So I'm going to focus more on generating buyers than I am going to be on generating leads, because a buyer is much more valuable to me in my database and my income. So we thought outside the box. I said, I want to give this stuff away. My wife was like, hey, let's do free golden ticket. I was like, what's that mean? And then she's like, well, Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like, let's watch that book, let's watch that movie. And I read all the books, I watched the movies, right? And I used that as ideas to how to translate that into what we do online. Okay, completely out of the box. Okay, completely out of the norm. I dress up like Willy Wonka, and I'm not a guy that likes to dress up. I don't even like to sing. Like, I was thinking about singing for that thing. Like, that's how in character that I got with it, and it was just so much fun. Like, I'm not a singer. Steph's like, my wife, she's like, I don't think you should be singing. Like, you probably gonna need to go to lessons for that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna sing, right? So think outside the box, be different, be willing to get uncomfortable, because if you're gonna disrupt your industry or your marketplace, like, you're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone. Okay, sorry to say it, but like, everything that is epic that's created in this world, typically somebody's gonna get out of their comfort zone. It's gonna push the limits and push the boundaries, right? Okay, what else? Okay, define how you measure disruption, right? What are the outcomes that you want from the disruption? Okay, go in with the end in mind. It's important to think in the end in mind. Or, I'm doing goal setting for the next year out, and I'm looking at, okay, well, what do I want this year to look like? I'm not starting from what do I want to do this month and next month and the month after that. I'm looking at, okay, no, what's the whole plan for the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months out? And then we can reverse engineer that and work backwards. Okay, the same thing applies to how you're going to go about disrupting your industry. Well, you need to know how you measure disruption, right? How do you know that you're making ground in the capacity of disrupting the industry? Well, you need to know the outcomes that you want. Okay, when we launched our free golden ticket, I knew one of the outcomes I wanted was to people to see the type of creativity that we put on that funnel and into that campaign, And I said, okay, well, if people can just get the idea, like they can see what we're doing and say, I want that creativity on my business, obviously they can help because they have an agency and they can do it all for me. So who am I going to hire? Am I going to hire an agency that has the creativity of this type of campaign, or am I going to hire just a regular agency that just talks about results and generating leads and selling, right? So it's completely different thought. So it accomplished what we wanted to do. It accomplished that outcome, the outcome of applying that creativity, that thinking outside the box into their business. And we've got tons of clients that work with us, come in for our one-day private intensives, work with us in a development cycle, and then eventually go on to launch and then optimize and scale their business with ads and offers. Okay, so that worked. That's the outcome that I wanted. So how do you measure disruption for your industry? And how do you measure the outcomes that you want from that disruption? It's important things to think about. Okay, next, another way to measure disruption is what problems do you solve? Okay, what problems do you solve? Okay, if you're a thought leader in your market, which I encourage you to be, even if you're selling physical stuff like green drinks or lunch coolers like one of my buddies, right? It doesn't even matter what you're selling, okay? If you have a service, if you're selling physical products, if you're selling information products, what are the problems that you solve, okay? How are you a thought leader to the marketplace that you're in, okay? First off, it's knowing all the problems that exist, okay? When you know who your dream customer is, then you can become intimately aware and knowledgeable about the problems that they experience in their day-to-day life, okay? You wanna continue to get that feedback, okay? Because that's so vital, because all of that feedback, people always wanna move out of pain and into pleasure, right? Out of pain and into pleasure, out of a problem and into a solution, okay? Hopefully you can provide solutions for people that are in pain or have problems that they're experiencing, and then they'll see you as the guide to getting them out of that pain and into that solution, okay? Super key, okay? What else? Well, who are you fighting against? Okay, I love what ClickFunnels did, what Russell did with ClickFunnels, okay? Russell Brunson took ClickFunnels and he said, okay, who are we fighting against? We're fighting against venture-backed companies, okay? ClickFunnels is privately owned. We're fighting against Infusionsoft because it's so confusing. And before Russell and ClickFunnels made Confusionsoft, which is, it's been known for years before that, everybody referred to Infusionsoft as Confusionsoft because it was just so darn complicated. I mean, I remember back in 2008, I hired their programmers to develop out these really sophisticated funnels because it just wasn't easy to use. The interface wasn't easy to use. Okay, so if you have a platform that's software-based and no one can use it, what good is it, right? And that's why they had that model. And eventually, they actually lost the battle to ClickFunnels and renamed their entire brand because there was so much negative noise about how confusing their platform is, right? Great platform if you know how to use it, okay? But it's Confusionsoft. And Russell did a great job at knowing what they're fighting against, okay? I think it was a little aggressive, personally. I wouldn't have been as aggressive with who I'm fighting against publicly because I think that really hurt the reputation of Infusionsoft, and I'm pretty sure they're probably pretty pissed about it, right? But definitely venture-backed capital firms like Russell right up front was really key and strategic about saying, like, we're not taking venture capital, at least at that time. Now, in the future, who knows? When he gets offered $1 billion in the future, maybe he might then take some money, right? But know who you're fighting against is a way to understand and disrupt your market, okay? And then 2 more things, okay? Number 1, add social proof to whatever it is that you're doing, okay? This is just a conversion tip at the end of the day, right? Add social proof. So as you gain traction with how you are making disruption in the marketplace, immediately turn that social proof, meaning other people talking about what it is that you're doing, and leverage everything, okay? I want to encourage you to write that down. leverage everything, okay? Because everything like testimonials and other people producing results, other people talking about you, is all social proof, okay? When I'm seen on entrepreneur.com, or I'm seen on ClickFunnels Radio, or I'm seen, on Oprah, whatever, right? Or Dr. Oz, right? That's social proof. Okay, that's not a testimonial. Testimonial is a testimonial. Social proof is social proof. Social proof is being seen on other platforms. Being seen on Entrepreneur on Fire with John Dumas with my interview is a social proof. Okay, and then the last thing is put gas on the fire. Okay, put gas on the fire. Get promoters to spread disruption. And I want you to understand this concept is the loudest voice wins. Okay, there's actually a movie about it. It's like a couple part series show about it. I think it's on Netflix, called The Loudest Voice Wins. And it talks about the rise of how Fox News became Fox News. Okay, at one point in time, they didn't have as much traction. They didn't have as much listenership, but they applied the philosophy of the loudest voice wins. Okay, so once you find something that's working, once you find something that is gaining traction, and you're beginning to create disruption, then add gas to the fire and become the loudest voice in the marketplace. I mean, a great way to disrupt your market is to become the loudest voice. If you look at what Gary Vee does, if you look at what Grant Cardone does, if you look at what Russell Brunson does, like, they are constantly engaging the marketplace in a conversation. That conversation is images and videos and blog posts and content, right? So the way to become the loudest voice is to publish and produce content. It's kind of like what we're doing here, right? The loudest voice wins at the end of the day. So guess what? The great news about that is that it levels the playing field because everyone can participate. You've got a phone, you've got a computer, okay? You can play this game, right? And I would encourage you to get in the game because content is king, and content has been king for more than the last decade. Literally, I was saying content is king back in 2010, right? So for more than a decade, it's ringing true, and it's only becoming more and more relevant, okay? So those are some of the ways to disrupt your marketplace. If you have any questions about how you can specifically disrupt your marketplace, number one, I hope these points help you and help you start thinking a little differently. And also, would love to hear from you. So drop a comment, question below this video. I'd love to hear from you. Share it with a friend. And if you need any help in launching your expertise, growing and scaling your business, or building your legacy, I would love to help. My team and I are here. That's what we do day in and day out, is we help people, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, consultants, even agencies, e-commerce businesses. We help them to launch their expertise, grow and scale their business, and essentially build their legacy. So check out BryanDulaney.com. It's got 3 different categories of offers. Do it yourself, all the books and the webinars and the courses, the Done With You, which is our mastermind coaching program, which is called Legacy Builders. And then the 3rd level is Done For You. And that's everything from design and branding and video production and copywriting and funnel development and offer creation and product development and even running ads across many different platforms like YouTube ads and Facebook ads and Instagram ads and a ton of other stuff as well. So we're here to help you. We're here to support you. That's why I'm doing this, to support you on your journey, help you take everything to the next level of success and abundance. So be sure to drop me a comment, share some love, and if you have any questions, please ask me questions, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.